everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. If you're a huge movie lover like me, you've probably always dreamed of having your own theatrical lightbox, something you could put those beautiful posters for motion pictures, old and new. Well, not everybody has the room or the expense account for that, but we can have the next best thing. This beautiful frame doubles quite well as a lightbox, and as you can see, it presents beautiful high color poster images, and I absolutely love it. What does it cost? How hard is it to set up? Where do you get the posters? We're going to talk about all that and more, so stick around.
Let's go into the Monroe world.
Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. It starts with this NexFoto 21.5 inch picture frame, 32 gigs on board, 64 gig flash drive included. Everything you need is in the box. And what a box it is. Now this is the smaller of the two units. The other one's a 32 inch unit that they sell. We have an accessories box. We'll take the screen itself out. Here's a remarkably decent guide. Color, looks like written by somebody who speaks English, all good. And then let's go ahead and get the frame itself out. Now this is why you get this and not a cheap TV, because it's made to be a digital picture frame. And so it is shaped correctly. It looks like a frame. It doesn't look like a TV turned on its side. It's actually quite beautiful for what it is. Then on the back here, we have a few things to look at here. We have a place for a stand. We're going to use that later. A couple of mounts, Visa mount, and of course, one for hanging portrait as well as landscape. And yeah, so we're going to be hanging this thing up portrait style. It's very nice. It does have some speakers. Apparently they're not all that great. We do have a proprietary DC in, USB-C, and of course we have micro SD that you could put in, as well as a flash drive, a USB port. So geez, you got a million different ways to add photos to this thing. Let's see what comes in the box. All right, so here's the flash drive that it came with. Here's the stand. It kind of clips in this hole. Yeah, I don't know how much I trust that, but we'll use it a little bit later. A remote that uses AA batteries, not included. We'll have to put those in. And we have mounting screws for the mounts. And this bag, I think, is what the the power supply came in. And it's white. Nobody likes the white. Everybody complains about the white. Here's the stand, by the way. It does an okay job, right? But it kind of pops out really easy. So I'm not sure I would use the stand. But let's plug in this don't like it because it's white. And let's see what we can do with this guy. So I'm just going to plug this thing in. There is a power and a reset button there at the top by my pinky finger. You'll probably be using the remote most of the time, though. All right, so let's stand this thing up. Okay, there we go. And it is powering up. Now, if you guessed that this is an Android power-up screen, you'd be right. All right, so we've got some batteries in here. And this is the first run Android power-up. When you come from full power on, you're going to have to wait for this welcome boot up. Again, if you're familiar with the way Android phones boot, oh, you can tell right away it's Android. Okay, right? So it comes up here. And let me see if I can get this centered a little bit better. Sorry, it's a little crooked. And this is your initial wizard, setup wizard. Now, somehow I think I chose like Mandarin or something. I'm going to have to go back here and choose English. Let's see if that tidies up. There we go. All right. Hey, that looks better. Let's go ahead and get connected to the Wi-Fi. Now I started typing and then I realized this totally sucks to type with this remote. I wonder if a keyboard plugged into the USB port would do the job. And lo and behold, oh my God, this is so awesome. Just plug a keyboard in, folks. Don't try to use the remote. Just use a keyboard. A keyboard, how quaint. And of course, we'll set up the time, blah, blah, blah. Arizona always has its own. All right, and then it'll have you download the vPhoto app. Don't have to do that. I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm not even going to show it. But that is what you can do. You can share this code so other people can send your frame photos. You can also email or have people email you pictures that will automatically deploy to your frame, which is cool if you're making this up for grandma, want to see the grandkids, get new pictures of the grandkids all the time. But that's not what we're using this for. We are using this as a digital theater lightbox. Now you'll also notice that it can be auto rotation, right? And here we go. Let's see what we got on here. I'm not going to bother going through any of this other crap. All we care about is the picture. So you can do all, only internal storage, only TF card, only USB, etc. Let's take a look at some of our options here, because I know you're going to want to set this up. So it's got a built-in light sensor, so it can dim for you. Here's our Wi-Fi. Factory reset. Okay, so basic, like, Android stuff, right? So let's take a look here. I'm going to plug in my stick that I have a bunch of my posters already on, and let's see what this does. Okay, USB flash disk inserted. Great. So if I go back to my photos, now, so now all are showing up, and you could just select one of these all by itself, right? So you could actually split these up. Now you'll see here, the magic of auto rotation, but I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to get that bar gone at the bottom. So we'll do that too. All right. But it's definitely here and working. So perfect. We'll put it back in portrait, and let's go back to our settings and see if we can monkey with this a little bit. So there's things like touch sounds, which are weird because it's not a touch screen. Slideshow time. Oh, we definitely want random, not sequential. So that's perfect. That gives us one more thing to do. And it's kind of weird the way that the controls highlight. It's not super intuitive. You get used to it after a while. It actually looks better on the camera, which is weird. Turn the caption off. That's what you're looking for, caption. And there's sleep mode, yada, yada, yada. You can set up all this stuff on your own. Notification sounds, auto rotation. This slideshow, I think, starts in 1 minute, or when you turn it on, when it powers up initially, I think in 1 minute, it will start the slideshow by itself. Didn't get a chance to test that. I just go in, start the show, and just let it run. So these are all of your options. So let's take a look. Now, apparently, if you want to change the time between slides, you'll do that through the caption, which we turned off. So you'll have to go turn the caption back on, go make the change if you want these to stay longer or shorter. And you can always take over with the remote and just do it yourself, right? So if you want to just quickly fluff through a bunch of them and find one that you like, then you can hit pause. We'll do that in a minute. So that works as well. I was looking for it in here and I couldn't find it, but it is in the caption. That's what I'm told. See, I come back in here and it's like, none of this makes any sense. It was much longer than a minute. So I think that the slideshow is an auto thing. So as soon as you turn it on, it'll start the slideshow. Okay. Well, looks great. I mean, I know it's really hard to appreciate on camera, but you can come down here and by the way, look at this. You can actually delete things from here, which is great. And of course, pause the slideshow. So if you wanted to just sit on one frame, you could do that, or you can trash it, right? So now we got it paused and it'll just sit here forever on Battlestar Galactica. So that's very cool. I mean, the remote's pretty fully featured. You don't really have to do anything. And we like that. And of course, again, you can manually pan through them, even when paused. And it looks great. I mean, obviously, the better, higher quality poster that you have, and I'll tell you what, the darks look better than the lights, right? Like the bright ones that kind of blow, they don't blow out a little bit, and you can see that but it still looks pretty good. The dark ones work great though. Let's go and hang this sucker up now. All right, so let's talk about the posters. Now, obviously, this frame doesn't come with a whole bunch of movie posters for free, right? So you're gonna have to source those for yourself. There's a bunch of tricky stuff with making this work, and I wanna show you what I've come up with. Of course, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm happy to help out as much as I can. So you might decide to go to Etsy or eBay and see if you can lay your hands on one of these gigantic collections of 8,500, 15,000, or even more posters for your simulated Lightbox. Now, what you're probably noticing here is these don't really look like theatrical posters because they're not. These are what you would call minimalist views, right? So this is something you would see on Plex or Jellyfin. It literally is sort of a visual idea of the movie, but it doesn't have the theatrical stuff. Coming April 27th, it doesn't have the text at the bottom, even for like high-end theatrical releases. So you can see these are nice, and maybe that's what you want. Me, I want the real theatrical trailers with the text on the bottom and the release date, the whole bit. I want all of that. So where do you go to get something like that? Well, you can search the internet. You can find some collections, but I'm going to show you, it's not free, but I love it. It's called Cinematerial. And this is it. This is where you're going to go and pick up the exact type of posters that you see on my frame. So let's start off with, let's go find something. Let's try Addams Family. There's 2 Ds in there. Okay, so we want the 1991 film, and we want Family Values, which is the sequel. So here we go. All right, now this is the actual theatrical poster right now playing at theaters everywhere. Now you could be scummy and just right click this and copy it, but this is not a very high resolution picture. You're not going to get a good look to it, but you can click full size, but it costs a credit. So how does that work out? Okay, well, it's $27.95, gets you 500 downloads. That's a great deal, especially for the types of quality that you're going to find here. Now, again, if you want to go find it on your own, great. But for me, I am totally willing to pay $30 to get top-notch posters. There's Family Values. Let's grab that one too. Okay. Great. And then let me see if I can find something that's old, like, say, Westworld. This, I bet, has a border around it. It doesn't. Well, that's too bad. I was hoping. Well, we'll grab that one too. Well, maybe it does have a white border around it. Perfect. I just wanted to show you some editing techniques. Okay, so now I've got a bunch of posters. Let's go see what we need to do with them to get them properly formatted for the frame. Okay, so I will sort by time. So Addams Family, Addams Family Values, and Westworld. Okay, perfect. So you can see here, this doesn't look like it has a white border around it. Too bad. These all, oh, this one has a black border, I think. Perfect. Oh, but see, it's got theaters at the bottom, so I've got to keep that one. Trying to see if I've got one that actually has a frame around it. Guess I should have picked one that actually had a frame. Oh, this one has a frame around it. You can see there's a white and a yellow. Perfect. So we'll do Logan's Run too. So I'm going to grab Logan's Run, Addams Family, Family Values, and Westworld. I'm going to drag them into, drag them into Affinity Photo. I realize this is not free. I'm sorry. You're free to use whatever free software that you want. I will use Affinity. So let's start with Logan's Run. You can see there's a white frame around it, which was for matting purposes at the theater. So a lot of these posters will have that. You don't need it because there's no matte area on this particular Lightbox simulation. So just crop it in there. You don't have to be exact unless you're one of those it's really hard because the coloring is so close, but let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't see any little white edges. Sometimes they're off by a pixel and you got to trim an extra pixel or two off the front and back. But that looks, I think that looks okay. Just for fun, I'm going to zoom in here. Oh, see, there's white down there. Hang on. Let's grab this. This is white. I knew it. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Maybe you're not quite the perfectionist that I am. Okay, so that's part of it. Cropping out the stuff that you didn't want. Now we're going to go to Document and Resize. Now, you must have these in 2:3 aspect ratio. So I have been resizing to 2000. Now you see how it automatically calculated the depth, right? We can't have that. So I'm going to turn off the constraint, and I'm going to type this in by hand. So how'd that happen? 2000 by 3000. Okay, so now we're going to have a resample. All these settings can be the same, and we resize. Now, Probably doesn't look any different to you, but it is in 2000 by 3000, which means the next piece of the equation will go a lot smoother and faster, and you'll see that in a minute. So Cat's Eye I did earlier for another run of this. Nope. Okay, here's Westworld. There's not much to do here, right? It's already cropped, so all we need to do, jump into Resize, 2000, tab, space to turn off the constraint, tab 3000. Trust me, you'll get really good at this. Okay, Westworld has been done. Perfect. So now we've done the items. Let's see. And these are all now sorted. These 4. I'm going to cut these and I'm going to put them into my input folder. Cat's Eye was already done. So let's talk about this process. I wrote a batch file to do all of this for me using a tool called Magic. Totally free, easy peasy. Leave a comment down below if you would like to have access to my script and to my source files for making your top and bottom banner. What's the top and bottom banner? So let's do the run me batch, and you can see it processed all of the ones that were in input and stuck the results in the output. Okay, so now you get the coming soon, you get the Monroe World Cineplex, because those are bottoms and top banners that I created specifically for this batch file. So essentially, the batch file will suck the picture in, shrink it, keeping its aspect ratio, and then slapping the banner at the top and the bottom. And you need that because if you don't, these things don't look right on this 1080 by 1920 display that's on this particular photo frame. So that's why you put these on here. Now, there's a guy that will charge you to do this, right? You can do it yourself. Just need a little bit of work, a little bit of effort. Plus, you don't know if he's going to have the posters that you want. So there's a lot of things to think about, but this is what you need. Now, I've got a USB-C cable plugged in to my frame right now. It's right above my PC, so it makes it easy. So I don't have to pull out the USB drive, bring it to my PC and do a sneaker net thing. I've got it plugged in. It just shows up as a device. And here's the USB disc. And here are all the posters that I currently have on there. And now I'm ready to just move them on over. I'm just going to copy them because I processed these somewhere else. Oh, yeah, see, I already did Cat's Eye. All right, that's it. Now, you would think that these would just be picked up and start being used by the frame right away. Unfortunately, that's not true. If you were to unplug your USB, bring it back here, copy the files to it, and then bring it back and plug it in, it would pick them up. Unfortunately, when you do it this way, it doesn't pick it up until the next reboot. That's the only thing that I can find that I don't like about this particular setup. So there you go. So now we've got the posters, we've got the frame set up, everything looks beautiful. You saw it in my opening. That's it. Now, what's it going to cost you? Yeah, I know. There's got to be a bad side to this, right? Because this is just way too cool. So here is the NexFoto 21-inch that I bought. You can see I purchased it. I did not get it for free. I paid full monies for this particular purchase. And it was 169 bucks, well, 170 bucks, which isn't too bad because the one that everybody on the internet is showing off is the 32-inch guy. And damn it, that's $4, man. That's 169 is almost an impulse buy. 400 bucks, that takes multiple signatures, second mortgages, and that sort of thing. But this is going to be closer, this 32-inch is going to be closer to the size of an actual Lightbox. Now, you saw mine. Mine needed to fit in a very specific spot, and this 21.5-inch is great. Maybe sometime in the future, I'll pick this other one up and stick it in the living room or something, right? Because no one else can appreciate it. It's back in my office, so only I get to appreciate it. But that's it. So about 170 bucks is what it's going to cost you. It comes with the flash drive. All you need to do, maybe if you want to spend the 69, I think it's 69 bucks for Affinity Photo, which is what I'm recommending to everybody right now. This is something I can help you with. If you come ask me in Discord, I can help you through this and help you do stuff with this. So that might be the only other cost. And of course, your time getting the source material. Again, Cinematerial, this is it. I recommend it. They've got it all, man. I've asked them for crazy stuff, and they've got it. Let me see if they got gay Purr-ee. It's, probably not the right spelling. It might be a dash. This is like a 1960s cartoon. Of course, I might not be spelling it right. I'm afraid to just type. Oh, there it is. Ha! Look at that. This was a cartoon I loved as a kid with Bob Goulet in it and stuff. Yeah, dude, come on. I mean, and it's not folded, or it doesn't have, well, I guess it does have fold marks in it, but look at that. That is the weirdest thing ever. One thing I did want to get was Charlotte's Web. Now that I'm thinking about, cartoons, I'm gonna grab this Charlotte's Web. Unfortunately, occasionally, especially with these old ones, you're gonna find ones that have folds in them. Now listen, with a few minutes and some clever paint tools like the aforementioned Affinity, you could remove those. I mean, I can show you how this works. It's ridiculously simple, but this is something that you might be willing to pay for. So let me pop back in there real quick. Go to my to-dos, Charlotte's Web, open with Affinity. Okay, so you can see those nasty lines in there, right? So there's a really cool thing called Clone Brush. Let me see, it's been a while since I've been in here. Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. Clone Brush. So what you can do is essentially you alt-click somewhere next to the line, like right there, and then you can literally just trace it along and it will clone the nearest area to it. Look at that. You'd have never known there was a, well, okay, I'm a little messy here. But you probably would have never known there was a line there, right? And you can do the same thing down here. Again, it all depends on how much you're willing to work at this, right? Oop, my clone screwed up a little bit, but you get the idea. So you can go in there, and there's other tools, like I think Paint Shop Pro has a scratch remover that you can just draw a line across it, and it'll just do it for you. There's probably a way to do it in Affinity, I just don't remember. So I'll process this one later. But that's it. What a great project. This was awesome for my my Father's Day. I had a really good time doing it. I enjoyed this. My sign, I love my sign. I'll put some more video up of my sign right now as I'm closing this out. I love my little light box. It automatically adjusts so it dims in the dark. It's brighter during the day. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Hey, listen, if you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, hit the bell. And if you're going to order one of these frames, why not use our affiliate link down below? It doesn't cost you anything. Throws a couple bucks our way. Helps keep the channel funded. And I can pay for cool things like that without having to have a sponsor. So thanks so much again. I'm Shane Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.